Hey, and welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. Don't call it a bounce back, but the UCLA Bruins, they suffered a four-game losing streak, and now they are 2-0 since then. I'll be diving into this exciting win for the UCLA Bruins over the Wisconsin Badgers, where the Bruins edged out the Badgers in a nail-biter, 85-83 in their victory. If you love deep game recaps like this one, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content. Also, join us live at 10 a.m. every Monday for our Power Rankings episode. Me and casual Big Ten Kent, we go through our Power Rankings and discuss them, debate them, have fun, and get insight from you all. And then at 1 p.m. every Friday for general news and game discussions. Oh, and also be sure to check out our football channel linked in the description. My co-host Zach over there, we do a great job breaking down everything that's going on in college football, Big Ten football in particular as well. Now, let's get into the thriller. This game was packed with intensity. A little bit of a chippy game out there from the opening tip to the final buzzer. Aday Mara, the 7'3" sophomore center from UCLA, delivered a career high 22 points on a perfect 7 of 7 shooting from the floor. Mara's performance, alongside Sebastian Mack's second half dominance, pushed the Bruins past Wisconsin in this one. Wisconsin had a hard time dealing with some of these bench players for UCLA, but Mack in particular scored his points in the second half, 15 of his 19 points. After halftime, taking over the game down the stretch. Wisconsin had their own standout performances. John Tonji bounced back from his performance versus UCLA and put on a clinic with 24 points after going 8 for 9 from the field and was on fire from 3-point range. Meanwhile, John Blackwell chipped in with 23 points of his own, but his last-second attempt to tie the game was blocked by UCLA's William Kyle the third. It was not a great opportunity for John Blackwell. Maybe could ran something different there, but the block effectively sealed the win for the Bruins. Like I said, poor move by John Blackwell. I don't know if Greg Gard even put him in the best position, but as UCLA crashed the paint to guard John Blackwell, it left John Tonji and Max Klesmit wide open with time on the clock to pass it. Blackwell was 5 for 13 on the night prior to this shot, and Klesmit was 2 for 4 from 3, while Tonji was 5 for 6 from 3. Granted, they did not need a 3 to tie the game. A 3 would have won the game, but only being down to 2 points. Both Klesmit and Tonji were better options than Blackwell's fadeaway in the paint that was surrounded by defenders. It was perhaps the biggest sequence of the game. Wisconsin pulled within 1 point after a three-pointer by Blackwell, making it 81-80, but Mack hit a free throw to give UCLA that 2-point cushion. When Wisconsin tried to respond, that block that I mentioned from William Kyle, it happened. John Blackwell's shot ended up going past the 3-point arc. I believe it was Sky Clark was able to pick it up and dribble it for a little bit before he went and shot free throws. I know Blackwell had been great for Wisconsin the last couple games and even prior to that one too, but it just wasn't his night for an option like this. Guard should have put the ball in Tonji's hands and let him make the shot. Both teams shot exceptionally well from the field, with each team posting 51% from the floor. The Badgers were also sharp from the free throw line, doing what they do from there. One of the best, if not the best, free throw shooting teams in the country. 18 of their 21 attempts. However, it was turnover plagued for Wisconsin, 13 in total, and those mistakes played out to be crucial in the role for their loss. UCLA's depth shined through in this game. The Bruins bench outscored Wisconsin's bench 41-12, with Mara and Mack doing most of the damage. Even with 3 of their starters battling foul trouble, UCLA managed to hold firm managed to hold firm and maintain their lead late. Wisconsin's shooting was on fire early in the game, especially from 3-point range, where they were able to hit 15 triples, led by John Tonji's hot hand. This is something we've seen from Wisconsin. We saw when they first started the year. Greg Gard really wanted to fire from deep a lot, but they couldn't overcome their mistakes, and three-point shooting isn't always going to do that. Main mistake of allowing UCLA to stay in control of the game. The star players of the night for UCLA, the star of the night was Aday Mara. The big man had a career night, not just scoring efficiently, but disrupting Wisconsin's game plan with his size as well. He only allowed his opponents to score about 10 points on the night. In addition to his perfect shooting, Mara grabbed 4 rebounds and added 2 key blocks to the game as well. Overall, Wisconsin just didn't have an answer for Mara. There was really nothing they could do to try and stop him. Sebastian Mack was UCLA's other standout performer, scoring 19 of his 19 points, 15 of which came in the second half. His offense in the final minutes helped keep UCLA's lead intact after there was many players in foul trouble. On Wisconsin's side, John Tonji's 24 points was a standout performance. He was okay on defense, but made up for it with his offense. Blackwell wasn't really all that efficient, but contributed well on the offensive end. Obviously, 23 points, but his defense left more to be desired. But the game was an overall net positive for both guys. Now, let's look at some of the underperforming players, because I do think there's some of those guys we need to talk about as well. While most of Wisconsin's offense clicked, some key players struggled. That being Steven Crowl. Steven Crowl has struggled in the past, and Steven Crowl struggled in this one. The team's primary big man couldn't deal with Mara's size and athleticism. Crowl managed 11 points, but he was ineffective at controlling the paint, and his defensive struggles contributed to the Badgers' inability to stop UCLA down low. Now, Aday Mara is 7'3", so it's going to be a tough matchup for anybody, but Steven Crowl is a veteran. He's somebody who needs to be ready for that. Max Klesman also did not have a great defensive performance, allowing nearly 16 points to the players from the other team he was guarding. For UCLA, Kobe Johnson had a quiet night. The 2-time All Pac-12 defender fouled out and was limited to just 3 points in this game. Though he played some strong defense against John Tonji, at times there was really nobody that was going to stop John Tonji tonight. He was just doing whatever he wanted to. He couldn't make Kobe Johnson couldn't make an impact offensively, though, but he did end the game with a 13+ minus, tied for the best on the team with Sky Clark. Next, we're going to look at some of the pros and cons of both teams, but first, I want to remind you about CBB Analytics. And if you've not heard of CBB Analytics, you're going to want to check it out. If you're serious about staying ahead of the game, you need CBB Analytics. CBB Analytics isn't just another stat site. It's the ultimate destination for in-depth college basketball analysis used by fans and actual college basketball coaches. CBB Analytics delivers stats you won't find anywhere else. You are not going to find these stats on ESPN.com. You're not going to find these stats just going to KenPom and stuff like that. Not only does it give you basic stats like turnovers and rebounds per game, that's the kind of stuff everybody sees, but it also calculates the rates for them as well, which is crucial since not every team plays the same amount of possessions, the same amount of pace. That's why KenPom is so valuable. But while KenPom focuses more on offense and defense overall, CBB Analytics dives even deeper. It's versatile, covering men's and women's basketball across Division 1 through 3, dating all the way back to 2018. Use my code HUDDLE, HUDDLE, for $30 off. You can't find this deal anywhere else. So whether you're preparing for an upcoming matchup, whether you're reliving last night's game, whether you just want to figure out what's this team good at, what's that team's good at, who leads in this category in all of college basketball, head on over to cbbanalytics.com and use code HUDDLE, HUDDLE, at CBB Analytics, where every stat tells a story and every game is a masterpiece. All right, let's get back to looking at the pros and the cons of both teams' performances in this game, because both teams did things well, but also both teams have some areas they need to improve. A pro for UCLA was their bench depth. UCLA outscored Wisconsin, their bench 41-12, as I mentioned earlier, with Mara and Mack leading the charge. Their depth was critical given the foul trouble that had sidelined several starters late in the game. Mara's breakout game was dominant, especially against a team that this was an opportunity for with some of Wisconsin's weaker interior defense that we've seen this year. Not missing a shot and contributing in multiple ways at both ends was huge for Aday Mara. His size was a game changer against Wisconsin's interior. The team was clutch too, despite losing a 9-point lead late in the second half and losing players to foul trouble late in the game. UCLA made timely plays. Mac's late game layups and Kyle's critical block were essential to securing the win for UCLA in this one. But like I said, not all pros. There are some cons too. The cons were evident. UCLA got into foul trouble. 3 of UCLA's starters were hindered by fouls, with both Tyler Bilodeau and Kobe Johnson fouling out late in the game. At that point, it looked pretty bleak, and you didn't know exactly what would happen. But thankfully, Mara and Mac were able to step up. They could have done better at defensive rebounding. Wisconsin grabbed 12 offensive rebounds, a weakness that is ranked 360th in the nation, as they are averaging less than 20 rebounds per game in their last 5 games. Wisconsin had some pros, though, so let's talk about Wisconsin's pros first. Their shooting was 51% from the floor, and they hit 15 threes in this game, with Tanji and Blackwell leading the offensive surge. The Badgers continue to hit their free throws. It's huge for this team that they're able to do that. It's huge when they're able to get to the inside, get fouled, get to the free throw line. It helps their bigs out in so many different ways. They were near perfect from the charity stripe, going 18 for 21. The cons, though, and these are things that have popped up time and time again, the fast break points were not good. The Badgers failed to convert on any fast break points, averaging 10 fast break points per game in their last 5 games in that winning streak, but that's not a spectacular number. But in their losses, Wisconsin is averaging only 3.3 fast break points per game. That ranks dead last in the Big Ten. Additionally, the interior defense, as I mentioned earlier, this has been something that I know Wisconsin fans have been frustrated about. The interior defense, it just has to be better. Crowell and Winter struggled to handle Mara's size, allowing him to dominate the paint and win the battle in the paint 30-20. My takeaways for Wisconsin showcase their major weaknesses, I guess you could say. A major weakness once again in their ability to handle size in the paint. Mara's dominance exploited a key deficiency in the Badgers roster, as they lack a true rim protector. Crowell he's a nice big man. He's experienced, he's older, he does a lot of things well, but he cannot be relied upon as a defensive anchor for this team, especially when you have somebody as big and as athletic as Mara. Having 2 7-footers in Winter and Crowell only combined for 0.6, right, not 6, 0.6 blocks per game. It's just unacceptable. You have 2 7-footers down there. You should be able to work that out better. However, Wisconsin's offense, particularly from deep, is proving to be elite. John's bounce back performance and Blackwell's consistency give this Badger team a solid foundation moving forward. But they can't just rely on the 3-point shot. They have to get down low. They have to get the other team in foul trouble. On the UCLA side, the win goes to show that they are a team capable of adapting. Mara's breakout and Mac's second half heroics suggest that this team have more potential excuse me, suggests that this team has more potential than their record might indicate. The Bruins may have had a rough stretch in Big Ten play to start, but they demonstrated resilience in this high-stakes game. As far as the tournament goes, the Badgers, they now sit at 15-4 overall, pretty good. 5-3 in Big Ten play. That's tied with a number of teams. And while their loss snaps a 7-game winning streak, I don't think it's a reason to panic for Wisconsin. Wisconsin knows how to win. Greg Gard has put this team together, and he knows their deficiencies, but he also knows their strengths. And Wisconsin's offense is strong, and as long as they clean up turnovers and find a way to deal with the size and the paint of other teams, like actually getting in the paint, forcing some more fouls on the other teams, they should remain a contender in the Big Ten. As for the NCAA tournament, Wisconsin is still in strong position. They're likely looking at a 5-7 seed right now. Could be higher, could be lower. We'll see what happens. But for UCLA, their victory moves them to 13-6 and 4-4 in Big Ten play, just within one game of each other. While they've struggled in conference play, their win over a ranked Wisconsin team is pretty significant. The Bruins are likely still a bubble team for the tournament, just depending on how their schedule goes. Maybe they add some quad one wins, stuff like that, different places. But if you build on the momentum, this could secure a 9 to 11 seed for this team. All right. That's it for today's recap. Thanks so much for joining me. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to check us out for more game recaps, the live show, power rankings at 10 a.m. on Mondays, and the kind of general discussion news at 1 p.m. on Fridays with guests there. So thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a good one.